Have you ever wondered why some phone scammers end a call the moment they hear a certain response? It is not no. It is not yelling at them. And it is definitely not using insults. In fact, it is a simple, polite word that instantly tells them they have lost control of the conversation. Today, I am going to reveal that word and explain exactly why it works. Most people imagine scammers as masterminds who can outsmart anyone. The reality is much less impressive. The person on the other end of the line is usually following a carefully prepared script. They are trained to guide the conversation in a very specific direction, and their success depends on keeping you focused on that script. Their strategy is simple. They want you feeling anxious, rushed, and uncertain. Once that happens, they can steer you toward the outcome they want. But the moment you interrupt their routine, everything changes. There is actually a psychological concept behind this. It is known as breaking a scripted interaction. When someone relies on a rehearsed sequence and you respond in an unexpected way, their advantage disappears. Suddenly, they are no longer leading the conversation. To understand why this works, let's look at the typical structure of a scam call. Almost every scam follows the same pattern. First comes the false identity. The caller introduces themselves as someone with authority. Maybe they claim to represent your bank, a government agency, a fraud department, or even law enforcement. Their goal is to gain instant credibility before you have time to question anything. Next comes urgency. They create a problem that supposedly requires immediate action. They might say your account is at risk, your benefits are in danger, or suspicious activity has been detected. The purpose is to trigger fear and pressure. When people feel rushed, they often stop evaluating information carefully. Then comes the real objective. This is where they ask for sensitive information, account details, passwords, verification codes, or payment through unusual methods such as gift cards. Everything leading up to this point was designed to make you cooperate. Here is the important part. None of these tactics work unless you continue playing the role they expect. The entire operation depends on you responding exactly as their script predicts. The second you step outside that pattern, their plan begins to collapse. Experts in fraud prevention have pointed out for years that scams rely on cooperation. Once a target refuses to follow the expected path, the scammer loses momentum and often has no backup strategy. Research has also shown that the longer people remain engaged in these conversations, the more likely they are to suffer financial losses. Even a few extra minutes can make a major difference. That brings us to the single word that can stop many scam calls in their tracks. Verify. Whenever someone contacts you claiming to represent an organization, simply say, "I would like to verify that information. I'll end this call and contact the organization directly." That one statement changes everything. Legitimate representatives have no problem with verification. In fact, they often encourage it. A scammer, however, cannot afford for you to do that. If you independently contact the real institution, their deception is exposed immediately. That is why many fraudulent callers become defensive, try to keep you talking, or simply disconnect the call. But don't stop there. Think of this as a three-layer defense system. The first layer is verification. I'm going to verify this through the official contact information. Say it calmly, confidently, and stick to it. The second layer is turning the conversation around. Ask, "Can you provide your full name, employee ID, and a direct callback number?" Now the pressure shifts to them. A genuine representative can usually provide identification without hesitation. Scammers often become uncomfortable when they are the ones being questioned. The third layer is the strongest of all. Say, "I do not make important decisions over unsolicited phone calls." This statement removes every urgency tactic from the equation. Whether they claim the issue is critical, time-sensitive, or an emergency, your response remains the same. No exceptions. Imagine how this plays out. The caller says, "We detected unusual activity on your account and need you to confirm information immediately." You respond, "Thank you for letting me know. I'll verify this by contacting the institution directly." That's it. No argument. No panic. No confusion. The conversation is effectively over. Here is a practical suggestion. Write these 3 responses on a note and place it somewhere visible near your phone. If a suspicious call arrives, you do not have to think under pressure. You simply read the phrases and follow through. And if you have already shared information during a scam call, act quickly. Contact your financial institution right away. Report what happened and follow their security recommendations. If personal identification information was exposed, reach out to the appropriate authorities and fraud reporting services as soon as possible. The faster you respond, the better your chances of limiting any damage. Remember, scammers do not succeed because they are unstoppable. They succeed because most people have never been taught how these conversations work. Now you know the pattern. You know how they create authority. You know how they manufacture urgency. And most importantly, you know how to take control back. Take a moment to think about the people in your life who might benefit from this information. A parent, grandparent, neighbor, or friend could one day receive a call designed to exploit fear and confusion. Sharing these simple phrases with them could prevent a costly mistake. Stay alert, stay confident, and never let a stranger on the phone control the conversation. I'll see you in the next video.